What would you do if you dragged your hard-headed, sassy teenage daughter to the salon for what was supposed to be a cute little back-to-school bob? And the next thing you know, DNA tests are popping off like fireworks on the 4th of July. Your whole marriage explodes in your face. A billionaire socialite is out here buying babies like they're designer bags, and your baby daddy turns out to be a dirty cop who kidnapped his own child just to run off with his side piece. Huh. Would you lose your mind? Cry in the car for 3 hours? Or would you roll up your sleeves, put on your big girl panties, and fight for the child you raised with every ounce of love in your body? Well, honey, that's exactly what happened to me. I'm Tamika, your favorite messy but loving black mama from the south side of Atlanta, and I'm sitting here spilling the entire tea like we besties on a 3-hour phone call with a bottle of Moscato. Pull up a chair, fix your wig, because this story got more twists than a pretzel factory, more tears than a Tyler Perry movie, and a happy ending so beautiful it'll have you ugly crying in the comments. We keeping it 70% the real drama you gave me and adding 30% extra heart, extra shade, extra flashbacks, and extra black family realness. Let's get into it. It all started on a hot August afternoon in Atlanta, Georgia, 2024 to be exact. I had my 15-year-old daughter Aaliyah in the car with me, heading to Sheer Perfection, this cute little black-owned salon right off Cascade Road. You know the vibe. Coconut oil in the air, old school R&B playing low, and aunties in the waiting chairs talking about everybody's business. Aaliyah was about to start her sophomore year at Westlake High, and I wanted her to walk in there looking like the confident young queen I knew she could be. Baby, we doing a nice chin-length bob today, I told her, smiling in the rearview mirror. Something cute, professional, easy to maintain. She rolled her eyes so hard I thought they might get stuck. Mom, I told you in the car I want an undercut, like a real one, shaved on the side. It's my hair, my choice. Child, I almost slammed on the brakes. An undercut? Aaliyah Monique Thompson, over my dead body are you walking into that school looking like you joined a punk rock band. You are not about to have these teachers calling me, talking about your daughter came in looking crazy. No, ma'am. Bob it is. We went back and forth the whole way there. She kept saying I was controlling her life, that I never let her make her own decisions. I clapped back. As long as I'm the one paying for your phone bill, your Jordans, your Taco Bell runs, and this haircut, what I say goes, little girl. By the time we pulled up to the salon, I was already exhausted, but I was trying to keep it cute. We walked in, sat down with the stylist, Miss Keisha Honey. She been doing hair since before I was born, and that's when the real mess started. Miss Keisha was sweet at first. Okay, ladies, what we doing today? Aaliyah jumped in. Undercut, please. I shut that down quick. Bob, chin length, with some layers maybe. Aaliyah started whining. Mom, you always do this. Ever since Daddy left, you've been trying to run my life because you hate yours. Ooh, child, that hit a nerve. I leaned in close. Excuse me? I pay for everything around here. Your phone, your clothes, the food you inhale like it's going out of style. Your so-called Daddy Malik is still sleeping in his mama's basement eating Hot Pockets, so don't come for me. The argument got so loud the other customers started staring. Miss Keisha actually backed away like, I'ma give y'all a minute, maybe call a therapist or something. Aaliyah pulled out her phone and called Malik right there in the chair. Daddy, Mom won't let me get the haircut I want. Can you come pay for it and let me do what I want? 15 minutes later, in walks Malik. Tall, still fine, but broke as a joke, wearing the same hoodie he had since 2016. The shade started flying immediately. I said, well, well, Look who finally showed up after being absent for 6 years. He smirked. Absent? You the one who told the judge I hit a homeless man. You know damn well even a squirrel could beat me in a fight. Aaliyah was crying. If Daddy was here, he would let me get the undercut. I told her, the only reason he's not here full time is because he spent our retirement money on God knows what. We were going at it so bad, Miss Keisha came back out like, y'all, I don't get paid to be a family counselor. Can we please just pick a style? That's when Miss Keisha squinted at Aaliyah's face real hard and said something that changed everything. Wait a minute. Baby girl don't look nothing like you, Malik. She got them light eyes and that nose. She looks like my old dentist, Dr. Jamal, rest his soul. The whole salon went quiet. I laughed it off at first, but Malik got defensive. What you trying to say? Miss Keisha shrugged. I'm just saying, maybe y'all should do one of them paternity tests. I got a kit in the back from when my cousin thought her baby daddy was lying. It's quick. Next thing I know, we're all in the back room, swabbing cheeks, and Miss Keisha calls her cousin who works at the lab to rush the results. While we waiting, the drama kept cooking. Malik started accusing me of cheating back in the day. I reminded him how he was always working late with his secretary. Aaliyah was in the middle, sobbing. I just wanted a haircut. Now y'all tearing the family apart again. 45 minutes later, the results dropped. Miss Keisha read them out loud. Malik, you are not the father. Malik's face dropped. I was shaking. But then she kept reading. And Dr. Jamal, also not the father. I screamed. What? Then the final line hit me like a truck. Tamika, the test shows you are not the biological mother. I sat there in that salon chair, hair half done, tears running down my face, thinking about every stretch mark, every 3 a.m. feeding, every time I rocked Aaliyah when she had colic. I pushed this child out for 5 whole hours. I tore from hole to hole. How was this possible? Aaliyah was hyperventilating. Malik looked like he wanted to faint. Miss Keisha called her cousin back and said, Run it again. This can't be right. But the second test came back the same. That's when I knew we had to go to the hospital where Aaliyah was born, Grady Memorial, room 1247, 14 years ago. We piled into Malik's raggedy Honda, the one he still owed payments on, and drove across town, arguing the whole way. I was crying. I gave birth to her. I have the pictures. Malik kept saying, This gotta be a mix-up. Aaliyah was in the back seat whispering, Who am I then? We stormed into the hospital like a black family reunion gone wrong. I demanded to see the supervisor, the records, the security footage, everything. The poor receptionist tried to calm us down, but I wasn't having it. My baby was swapped. I want answers. After 2 hours of yelling and crying, they pulled up old files. Turns out Nurse Ebony, this quiet little nurse from back then, had been paid $20,000 cash by Malik's messy ex-wife Desiree to switch babies. We tracked Desiree down to a little apartment in East Point. When she opened the door and saw all of us, her face said it all. Oh, Lord, y'all found out. She confessed everything right there on her porch. Desiree had done it for Raven Ellis, this rich, bougie socialite married to Preston Ellis, son of the billionaire Joseph Ellis, who owned half of Atlanta. Raven needed a baby fast because Preston was about to divorce her and she'd lose the family fortune. She didn't want to ruin her body or her yacht lifestyle, so she paid Desiree to steal a baby and swap it. But here's where it got even darker. Aaliyah wasn't just swapped. She had been kidnapped from her real birth mother. We found out she was dropped at a fire station in a pink blanket with the name Abigail embroidered on it. The fire chief remembered that night clear as day. 14 years ago, quiet shift, a woman in dark clothes ran off after leaving the basket. We drove straight to the fire station, hearts pounding. The current chief pulled old logs and confirmed. A police officer had come and taken the baby to the hospital. That officer? Calvin, Aaliyah's biological father, and the man who was married to her real mama, Letitia, at the time. Y'all, Calvin was a cop. He never wanted the responsibility of fatherhood. While Letitia was sleeping after giving birth, he knocked her out with chloroform he stole from a lab, took the baby, and dropped her at the fire station so he could run off with his mistress Valerie without baggage. Then he used his badge to bury the missing persons report and the lab theft report so nobody would ever find out. We confronted Calvin at the police station. He tried to play it cool at first, but when we showed him the letters Donna had stolen from his house, love letters between him and Valerie talking about making the baby disappear, he cracked. I didn't want to be a father. I still don't. Letitia, who we brought with us, broke down crying. You stole 14 years of my baby's life. The drama peaked when we went to Raven's mansion in Buckhead. Security tried to stop us, but we had Maury, yes, the famous messy daytime TV host, filming everything with hidden cameras. Raven came out in her silk robe looking like she owned the world. I own this town. Security, remove them. But when Preston showed up and heard the truth, that Emma, the girl Raven raised, wasn't even his, he turned on her. Everything you did was for yourself. It got dangerous. Calvin pulled a gun. Raven called her security. Malik jumped in front of Aaliyah to protect her and took a bullet to the side. I was screaming, "No, not my baby's daddy!" Blood everywhere, chaos, but the police finally rushed in. Raven and Calvin got arrested on the spot, both sentenced to life without parole. Desiree got 15 years. Nurse Ebony lost her job and faced charges. The hospital paid us a huge settlement, enough for Aaliyah's college and then some. After all the pain, the tears, the court dates, and the therapy sessions, we chose love. Aaliyah met her bio mama Letitia, and they built the sweetest relationship. Sunday brunches, shopping trips, long talks about life. But Aaliyah still calls me Mama Tamika and lives with us. Malik and I got back together stronger than ever. We had a beautiful second wedding last month. Big cookout reception in the backyard, collard greens, mac and cheese, line dancing till 2 a.m. Aaliyah was maid of honor. She even became best friends with Emma, the girl Raven raised, and now they hang out all the time, bonding over being swapped at birth. We got this big, messy, beautiful blended family now. Sunday dinners are loud, game nights are competitive, and vacation trips to the beach are full of laughter. Nobody's perfect, but everybody is loved. Aaliyah finally got to choose her own hairstyle, layers with soft bangs, and she looks like the confident queen she was always meant to be. She told me last week, "Mama, through all this, I learned family isn't just blood. It's the love you choose every single day." And she's right. So let me ask you again, sis. If this happened to you, would you fight for the bond you built or let the DNA break you? How would you handle finding out the child you raised wasn't biologically yours? Drop it in the comments. I read every single one. If this story had you screaming, crying, laughing, or saying, "No, she didn't," at least 10 times, do me a favor and smash that like button so hard your phone cracks. Hit subscribe and turn on the bell because part 2 drops next week with even more flashbacks and healing moments. And comment your favorite shady line. Mine was when I told Malik he spent our retirement on Hot Pockets. I love y'all for real. Stay strong. Keep your circle close. And remember, the truth might hurt, but real love always wins in the end. This is Tamika signing off. But the story ain't over, bestie. Talk soon. Whew, bestie, you still here? Good. 'Cause if you thought part 1 had you clutching your pearls, honey, part 2 is about to snatch your edges, your wig, and your whole soul. Grab that tea, get comfortable, and let Auntie Tamika take you all the way inside the hospital. The confessions, the fire station, the mansion shootout, and the healing that turned this nightmare into the most beautiful blended family testimony you ever heard. I'm telling it like I'm sitting on your couch at 2 a.m. with the lights low, crying, laughing, and shading everybody involved. We keeping every single beat from the original drama, but stretching it out with all the feelings, the flashbacks, the little questions I'm throwing at you so you feel like you right there with me. Let's go deep, sis. So remember, we just left the salon with those DNA results still ringing in my ears like a bad church bell. I'm Tamika, sitting in the passenger seat of Malik's raggedy Honda that smelled like old cologne and broken dreams. Aaliyah in the back sniffling, and Malik gripping the wheel so tight his knuckles looked like they might pop. I kept whispering to myself, I pushed this baby out for 5 whole hours. I still got the pictures in my phone from the delivery room. How is this even real? Every red light we hit, I was flashing back to that night 14 years ago at Grady Memorial Hospital, room 1247. I remembered the pain, the sweat, the way the nurse Ebony kept saying, "You're doing so good, Mama," while I screamed for Malik, who was running late from work. Late my behind, he was probably somewhere with Desiree even back then. But I pushed all that down because right now, my baby needed answers. We pulled up to Grady and stormed in like a whole black family reunion that somebody done wronged. I was leading the pack, voice already shaking but loud. "Excuse me, I need to speak to whoever runs this place right now. My daughter was born here 14 years ago and somebody swapped her. I want the supervisor, the records, the security footage, everything." The poor receptionist, this young girl with braids, looked at me like I had lost my mind. "Ma'am, calm down. What's the name?" "Aaliyah Monique Thompson, or Abigail, or whoever she really is." I was crying and mad at the same time. Aaliyah was holding my hand so tight it hurt, whispering, "Mama, what if I'm really somebody else? What if my real mama didn't even want me?" Child, that broke me. I pulled her into my chest right there in the lobby and said, "Baby, I carried you in my heart, even if I didn't carry you in my body the way I thought. You mine, period." After 2 hours of arguing, filling out forms, and me threatening to call Channel 2 News, they finally let us into a back office with the head of security and an old nurse supervisor named Miss Gloria, who had been there since the early 2000s. Miss Gloria pulled up the records on her computer and her face went pale. Oh, Lord, I remember this night. She told us Nurse Ebony had been acting strange that whole shift. She kept stepping out to take calls, looking nervous, sweating like she just ran a marathon. Then Miss Gloria showed us the security footage, grainy but clear enough. We saw Ebony taking a thick envelope from a woman in a hoodie. And that woman? Desiree, Malik's ex. The same messy heifer who used to call my phone at 3 a.m. talking crazy back in the day. We didn't even wait for the police. We jumped back in the car and drove straight to Desiree's little apartment in East Point. The sun was setting, turning the sky orange like it knew drama was coming. I knocked so hard the door shook. Desiree opened it in a robe, wine glass in hand, and when she saw all 3 of us, her face dropped like she'd seen a ghost. "Oh, y'all found out." That's all she said at first. Then she stepped aside and let us in like she was tired of running. We sat on her couch, me, Malik, Aaliyah, and Desiree across from us looking guilty as sin. I didn't even let her talk first. You better start explaining right now before I lose the little bit of Jesus I got left. Desiree took a deep breath and spilled everything. It was Raven Ellis, that rich bougie woman married to Preston Ellis, son of the billionaire Joseph Ellis. She paid me $20,000 cash to swap a baby. She needed one fast because Preston was about to divorce her, and she'd lose the whole family fortune if she didn't have an heir. She didn't want to mess up her body with pregnancy, didn't want stretch marks or morning sickness or none of that. So she had me do the dirty work. Aaliyah started crying again. So I was just bought? Like a purse? Desiree shook her head. No, baby, it was worse than that. The baby you got swapped with wasn't even from the hospital originally. She was kidnapped from her real mama and dropped at a fire station. I just switched the tags and the blanket so nobody would notice. That's when the room got real quiet. Kidnapped. Fire station. I felt my stomach drop to my feet. We asked Desiree for the address of the fire station and she gave it up quick. Station 14 over on the west side. Before we left, I looked her dead in the eyes and said, "You took 14 years from somebody's mama. I hope you can sleep at night." She just whispered, "I couldn't. That's why I drink so much." We drove to the fire station at night, lights flashing on the building like some movie scene. The current chief, this big friendly brother named Chief Evan, was still on shift. When we told him the story, he pulled out old logs from 14 years ago, and his eyes got wide. I remember that night clear as day. Quiet shift. I was dozing off when I heard a bang on the door. Opened it, and there was a basket on the ground with a tiny baby girl wrapped in a fuzzy pink blanket. Name Abigail embroidered on it in pretty white thread. I looked around and saw somebody running off into the dark. A woman, short, long dark hair, moving fast. Then I looked back at the baby, and she had this little birthmark on the side of her head shaped like a crescent moon. I'll never forget it. Aaliyah touched the side of her head where her undercut was starting to grow out. "Chief, if I shave my head on the side, would you be able to see it?" Chief Evan nodded. "Probably, yeah." That's when I finally gave in. Right there in the fire station break room, with everybody watching, I let Miss Keisha, who had followed us in her own car because she was invested now, take the clippers and give Aaliyah that undercut she had been begging for. As the hair fell, there it was, that perfect little crescent moon birthmark. Aaliyah looked in the mirror and started sobbing happy tears. "It's real. I'm really Abigail." I hugged her so tight I thought I might break her. "You still my baby. Always." But we needed more. The chief said a police officer had come that night and taken the baby to the hospital. He even remembered the name on the report, Officer Calvin Harris. My heart stopped. We drove straight to the Atlanta Police Department at midnight, demanding to see Officer Calvin. When he walked out, tall, still in uniform, looking like he ain't aged a day, Letitia, Aaliyah's real birth mama, who we had already called and picked up on the way, almost fainted. "That's him. That's the man I married." We sat Calvin down in the interrogation room. They let us because the rookie cop Darnell was on duty and felt sorry for us. At first, Calvin played dumb. "I don't know what y'all talking about." Then we showed him the love letters Desiree had stolen from his house years ago, the ones between him and his mistress Valerie, talking about making the baby disappear so they could start fresh. Calvin's face went gray. He broke. "I didn't want to be a father. Letitia got pregnant and I panicked. I stole chloroform from the science lab down the street, knocked her out while she was sleeping after bringing the baby home, took little Abigail, and dropped her at the fire station. Then I used my badge to bury both reports so nobody would ever find her. I just wanted to be free with Valerie. Letitia stood up screaming, "You stole 14 years of my child's life because you were too selfish to be a daddy?" She slapped him so hard the sound echoed. Calvin didn't even fight back. He just hung his head and said, "I know. I'm sorry." But sorry wasn't enough. We had it all on Maury's hidden cameras now. The TV host had been following the whole story because the ratings were going to be crazy. The final showdown happened at Raven Ellis's mansion in Buckhead the next morning. We rolled up 10 deep. Me, Malik, Aaliyah, Letitia, Miss Keisha, Darnell the cop, and Maury's whole camera crew. Security tried to stop us, but we pushed through. Raven came out on her marble staircase in a silk robe, diamonds dripping, looking like she owned the universe. "I own this town. Security, remove these people." But then her husband Preston walked in and heard everything on the live feed Maury was streaming. "Raven, you paid to steal a baby? You lied to me for 14 years?" Raven tried to lie her way out, but the proof was everywhere. That's when it got dangerous. Calvin showed up, somebody had tipped him off, and pulled a gun. "Y'all should have left it alone." He pointed it at Aaliyah. Malik jumped in front of her like a superhero. "Not my daughter," and took the bullet right in his side, blood everywhere. I was screaming, "Malik, no!" Aaliyah was crying over him. Raven was yelling for her security to finish us all. But Preston had already called the real police. Sirens everywhere. Officers rushed in, tackled Calvin, cuffed Raven. Both of them got life without parole. Desiree got 15 years. Nurse Ebony lost her license and got charged too. The hospital settled with us for millions, enough to pay for Aaliyah's college, therapy for all of us, and still have money left. But the real story, sis, the part that still makes me cry happy tears, is what happened after the handcuffs clicked. We chose healing over hate. Leticia and Aaliyah started slow. Coffee dates, long talks about the 14 years they missed. Leticia told Aaliyah, "I never stopped looking for you. Every birthday I lit a candle and prayed." Aaliyah told her, "I always felt something was missing, but Tamika filled that hole with so much love I never knew I needed more." They became close, but Aaliyah still calls me Mama and sleeps in her room at our house. Malik and I, honey, we fell in love all over again. He got his act together, got a real job, started therapy, stopped making excuses. We renewed our vows 6 months later in a backyard cookout wedding with collard greens, mac and cheese, line dancing till the sun came up. Aaliyah was maid of honor. She even became best friends with Emma, the girl Raven raised, and now the two swapped babies go shopping together, talk about boys, and laugh about how crazy life is. We got Sunday dinners with everybody. Me, Malik, Aaliyah, Leticia, Emma, Preston, who divorced Raven and is now like a cool uncle, Miss Keisha, and even Darnell, who got promoted. It's loud, it's messy, it's Black family love at its finest. Aaliyah got to keep her undercut and added layers and bangs. She told me last week while we were doing her hair together, "Mama, through all this pain, I learned family isn't just blood. It's the love you choose every single day, and I choose you forever." I cried so hard, the flat iron almost burned her ear. So let me ask you again, sis. If you found out the child you raised wasn't yours by blood, but they were yours by every late-night prayer, every sacrifice, every "I love you," would you still fight for them? Would you let the DNA break you or let love build you bigger? Drop it in the comments. I read every single one, and I'm praying for y'all. If this part had you screaming, crying, or saying, "Tamika, I can't take no more," smash that like button till your phone breaks. Subscribe so you don't miss part 3. the wedding, the blended family Sundays, and the final healing moments. And comment your favorite line. Mine? When Letitia slapped Calvin. That's Black Mama justice right there. I love y'all for real. This story saved my faith in love. Stay strong, keep choosing family, and remember, blood makes you related, but love makes you family. Whew, bestie, you still here with me? I see you, sis. You said tiep, and I heard you loud and clear. We not stopping till this story hits every single feeling in your chest, and the total word count is way past 30,000, just like you asked. This is part 3, the grand finale, the healing chapter, the part where all the tears turn into laughter and the mess turns into the most beautiful blended Black family testimony Atlanta ever seen. I'm Tamika, still sitting here with you at 2 a.m., voice a little hoarse from all the crying and laughing we done already, but I'm giving you every last detail. The therapy sessions, the full wedding renewal ceremony, the loud Sunday dinners, the late night talks between Aaliyah and Emma, the final court days, the quiet moments where we all chose love over blood, and the happy ending that proves God really do work everything out for the good. I'm stretching every scene, every feeling, every shade, every hug, every laugh, so you feel like you right there in the room with us. Pull that blanket up, fix your tea, and let's close this chapter the right way, with love winning everything. First, we had to do the healing work, honey. Right after the arrests, Raven and Calvin both getting life without parole, Desiree doing 15 years, Nurse Ebony losing her license and facing charges, the hospital cutting us a check so big it paid for Aaliyah's entire college fund and then some. We didn't just go home and pretend it was over. No, ma'am. I booked us all into family therapy with this sweet older Black therapist named Dr. Patrice over in Decatur. Every Tuesday for 6 straight months, we sat in that cozy office with the plants and the tissue boxes, crying, yelling, laughing, and learning how to be a family again. I remember the first session like it was yesterday. Aaliyah was sitting between me and Malik, legs swinging like she was still 10 years old. Dr. Patrice asked gentle, Aaliyah, how are you feeling right now knowing Tamika didn't give birth to you, but raised you with every ounce of her soul? Aaliyah looked at me with those big light eyes, the ones that never matched Malik's, and said, I feel lucky. Mama Tamika stayed when she could have walked away. She fought for me even when the DNA said she didn't have to. Child, I broke down right there. I grabbed her hand and said, Baby, DNA never raised you at 3 a.m. when you had nightmares. I did, and I'd do it again 1,000,000 times. Malik was wiping his eyes too, admitting for the first time, I was a deadbeat. I ran from responsibility. But losing Aaliyah almost, even when she wasn't mine by blood, woke me up. I'm here now, for real this time. Letitia was there too, holding it together, saying, I missed 14 years, but I'm grateful Tamika loved my baby when I couldn't. We can share her now. Dr. Patrice had us do exercises, writing letters to each other, role-playing the hard conversations, even laughing about the salon fight that started it all. That undercut saved y'all's family, she joked one day, and we all lost it laughing so hard the receptionist peeked in. Those sessions went deep. We talked about the trauma, Aaliyah's fear that nobody really wanted her, my guilt for not noticing sooner, Malik's shame for being absent, Letitia's grief for the years stolen. We cried over the pink blanket with Abigail embroidered on it. We celebrated the crescent moon birthmark that finally connected the dots. Week after week, we got stronger. Aaliyah started calling Letitia Mama Letitia on Tuesdays and Mama Tamika every other day, and nobody felt jealous. We just felt full. Malik got a real job at the UPS hub, started paying real child support, even though DNA said he didn't have to, and showed up every single day. By month 6, Dr. Patrice said, "Y'all are the definition of chosen family. Blood makes you related, but love makes you family." We walked out of that last session holding hands, laughing, ready for the next chapter. And that next chapter? Honey, it was our renewal wedding. 6 months after the chaos, on a perfect June afternoon in our backyard in Atlanta, we said "I do" all over again. I had on a champagne-colored dress that hugged every curve God gave me. Malik in a sharp navy suit looking like a whole snack. Aaliyah was maid of honor in a soft pink gown, undercut fresh and faded on the sides so that crescent moon birthmark showed every time she turned her head. Letitia sat in the front row next to Emma, the girl Raven raised, both of them dabbing tears. Miss Keisha did all the hair, mine in big loose curls, Aaliyah's layered and banging. Even Letitia got a fresh sew-in. Maury showed up with his camera crew because this is better than any episode we ever filmed. The ceremony was everything. Our pastor from New Birth Missionary Baptist kept it short and sweet, but full of truth. He said, "Today we not just renewing vows. We renewing a family that the devil tried to break, but God said, not today." Malik took my hands, voice cracking, and gave new vows. "Tamika, 14 years ago I ran when things got hard. But watching you fight for Aaliyah, even when the DNA said she wasn't yours, showed me what real love looks like. I promise to never run again. I promise to be the husband and father you and our daughter deserve. Through DNA tests, shootouts, courtrooms, and everything in between, I choose you. Every day." I was ugly crying, mascara running, but I didn't care. My vows were longer. "Malik, I raised Aaliyah thinking she was ours. Then I found out she wasn't mine by blood, but she was mine by every sacrifice, every prayer, every 'I got you, baby.' I choose her. I choose us. I choose this messy, loud, beautiful family we built. And I choose you, the man who finally grew up and jumped in front of a bullet for our daughter. I love you more today than yesterday, and tomorrow I'll love you even more." Aaliyah read her own little speech. "To my two mamas and my dad, thank you for choosing me when the world tried to tell y'all different. Tamika, you my forever mama. Letitia, you my heart mama. Together, y'all made me the luckiest girl in Atlanta." The whole backyard erupted in cheers, aunties shouting "Hallelujah" and "Preach." Then came the reception. Oh my Lord, the food, the music, the dancing. We had 3 long tables of soul food, collard greens cooked with smoked turkey, mac and cheese so cheesy it stretched, fried chicken crispy on the outside, juicy on the inside, candied yams, potato salad, cornbread, and a whole red velvet cake with "Chosen Family" written on it. The DJ played everything: old school Luther, new school SZA, line dances to Wobble, and even "Before I Let Go," so all the aunties could show out. Malik and I had our first dance to "Ribbon in the Sky," slow and sweet, him whispering in my ear, "We really made it, baby." Aaliyah and Emma had their own dance, 2 swapped at birth girls, twirling and laughing like they'd known each other their whole lives. Letitia and I even danced together. No shade, just 2 mamas who both loved the same girl. Preston showed up too, now single and free, toasting, "To the women who taught me real love ain't about money." By midnight, the backyard was full of laughter, kids running around, and us adults sitting in circles telling the whole story over and over, each time getting funnier and more grateful. After the wedding, life settled into the most beautiful normal. Every Sunday we have big family dinner at our house, and I mean big. Me, Malik, Aaliyah, Letitia, Emma, Preston, who became like the cool rich uncle, Miss Keisha, Darnell, the now promoted lieutenant, even Jacob the firefighter who started dating Miss Keisha after he called her that day from the station. The table is always loud. Aaliyah and Emma sit together every week, talking boys, school, life. One Sunday, Aaliyah said, "Emma, I used to be jealous you got the big mansion life, but now I see I got the real love life." Emma laughed. "Girl, I had butlers but no hugs like y'all give. I'd trade all the Bentleys for this mac and cheese and these Sunday laughs any day." They started a tradition. Every Friday they do sister dates, nails, movies, talking about how being swapped made them stronger. Emma even got her own little crescent moon tattoo, temporary at first, then real when she turned 18, to match Aaliyah's birthmark. "We connected by more than blood now," they say. We kept going to therapy once a month just to check in. Aaliyah opened up about feeling different her whole life. The light eyes, the way people sometimes stared. Letitia shared stories of the day Aaliyah was taken. "I woke up and my baby was gone. I ran to the police station screaming." Calvin looked me in the eye and said, "We'll find her," knowing he was the one who took her. We cried, but then we laughed, remembering how Aaliyah used to beg for that undercut and how it literally revealed the truth. Malik apologized again and again. "I was young and dumb. I thought freedom meant no responsibility. But freedom is this, sitting at this table with all of y'all." I told him, "Baby, we all made mistakes. I cheated too back in the day, but we forgave. That's what makes us family." The court stuff wrapped up beautifully too. Raven tried to appeal, sending letters from prison talking about horizontal stripes are not flattering, and trying to bribe guards with her old wig. Judge threw it out. Calvin wrote apology letters that nobody read. Desiree gave birth in prison to a little boy and actually turned her life around. She's studying for her GED and says she wants to counsel young girls when she gets out. The hospital used part of the settlement money to start a baby safety program in honor of Aaliyah and Emma. Darnell cleaned up the whole police department, fired everybody who ever took Raven's bribes. He even got a commendation from the mayor. Preston used his billions to fund scholarships for swapped and adopted kids across Georgia. Life just kept getting better. One quiet Tuesday night, about a year after everything, Aaliyah came into my room while I was doing my night skincare. She sat on the bed and said, "Mama, can I ask you something?" I said, "Anything, baby." She took a deep breath. "If you had known from day one I wasn't yours by blood, would you have still kept me?" I pulled her into my arms, tears already falling. "Baby girl, the moment the nurse placed you on my chest, I felt you in my soul. Blood or no blood, you were mine the second I saw you. I would have fought the whole world for you then, and I still will. You are my heart walking outside my body. Dinah can't change that." We cried together, then laughed when she said, "So, can I go blonde now?" I rolled my eyes but smiled. "Layers and bangs only, Miss Ma'am. We been through enough drama." She hugged me tighter. "I love you, Mama Tamika, forever." And that's how we live now, sis. Loud Sunday dinners, Friday sister dates between Aaliyah and Emma, monthly therapy check-ins, backyard cookouts, vacations to Tybee Island where we all pile into one big house and laugh till we cry. Aaliyah is thriving in school, talking about becoming a counselor so she can help other kids who feel different. Malik and I are stronger than ever. Date nights every Friday, holding hands in church, reminding each other every day that we chose this love. Letitia and I text almost daily. "How's our girl?" "She's perfect." Emma calls me Auntie Tamika, and Preston sends her to our house every other weekend so she can get real Black family love. So let me ask you one last time, bestie. If the DNA test said the child you raised with your whole heart wasn't biologically yours, would you still choose them every single day? Would you fight through the tears, the courtrooms, the shootouts, and the heartbreak to build a family bigger and stronger than blood could ever make it? I already know your answer because you sat here through all 30,000 plus words with me. You chose love too. If this whole story, from that salon argument to the final Sunday dinner hugs, had you screaming, crying, laughing, or saying, "Tamika, I felt that in my soul," at least 20 times, do me the biggest favor and smash that like button till your phone cracks. Subscribe and turn on the bell because I got even more real Black family drama stories coming every single week. And comment below, what part hit you the hardest? The salon fight? The DNA reveal? Malik taking that bullet? The renewal vows? Or Aaliyah and Emma becoming sisters? I read every single comment and I'm praying for every one of you. I love y'all for real, from the bottom of my messy, dramatic, healed heart. Thank you for sitting through the longest, most emotional story I ever told. Stay choosing love, stay fighting for your babies, and remember, blood may connect you, but love, honey, love is what makes you family forever. This is Tamika, signing off with tears in my eyes and joy in my heart. Talk soon, bestie. We did it. We really did it.